Thank you, Travis. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin in Venezuela. We tell you now that Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro blasted United States sanctions in his address to the UN General Assembly recently, while avoiding any mention of a report accusing his government of crimes against humanity. In a lengthy pre-recorded speech that ran more than twice the allotted time, the socialist leader denounced what he called a criminal inhuman aggression by the U.S. aimed at putting him from power and said Venezuela would resist. The speech marks Maduro's return to the world stage after his absence last year as political turmoil embroiled the country. The U.S., which doesn't recognize him as Venezuela's legitimate president, has indicted him on drug charges. Maduro likely would have skipped this year's proceedings too had the pandemic not forced the UN summit to go virtual. Even though he would have the UN diplomatic immunity, Maduro would be taking a risk by traveling to the U.S., where there is a $50 million bounty for information leading to his arrest. This year's online General Assembly offered Maduro a leg up, relegating opposition leaders who in 2019 held side events with powerful leaders further along the margins. Though deeply unpopular, Maduro still controls every aspect of life in Venezuela. Guaido, though backed by influential world leaders, is increasingly powerless within the beleaguered nation, his popularity dropping as he struggles to rally more than a small crowd of supporters at a recent call for protest. Now for some PAHO news. Countries should not wait for a COVID-19 vaccine to be developed before they start planning and preparing for its arrival, Pan American Health Organization Director Carissa Etienne said recently. In the meantime, she added that there must also continue other recommended public health measures to contain the virus. Etienne noted that frontline health workers, first responders, and those caring for the elderly should be vaccinated first, followed by vulnerable groups such as adults with pre-existing conditions, especially those over 65 years of age. The challenge, she said, lies in identifying those groups early and determining how best to reach them. The PAHO director warned that even as a vaccine is rolled out, the virus will continue to spread and people will continue to get sick. So all hope should not be pinned on vaccines alone. When vaccines become available, the COVAX facility convened by Gavi, the Coalition of Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and WHO will afford countries in the region the best opportunity to fast-track access to COVID-19 vaccines and reduce the impact of the pandemic on people's lives and the economies. The COVAX facility offers access to a basket of 15 possible vaccines. And finally, news emerging out of Haiti. Haiti's president drew attention Thursday to the high levels of hunger, poverty, and inequality endured by people worldwide, a trend he said cannot be reversed without broad mobilization of financial resources. In a speech delivered before the United Nations to its 75th General Assembly, Jovenel Moïse warned about the persistent gap between commitments and actions being taken to eliminate poverty in the world and use his country as an example. The head of state pointed out that although Haiti has received billions of US dollars in aid from the international community during the last 10 years, the living conditions of Haitians have not improved. He said, and I quote, "We need projects that fit our needs, that respond to our priorities, and that allow us to implement human-centered economic development." Moïse added that while many countries have made significant efforts towards implementing sustainable development goals, the Caribbean nation is still lagging behind. Well, that's a wrap for tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Travis.